Hey guys, today I'm going to do a study on Genesis chapter 39, so let's get into it. Now Joseph had been taken to Egypt, and an Egyptian named Potiphar, an official of Pharaoh and a captain of guard, brought him from the Ishmaelites who had brought him there. The Lord was with Joseph, and he became a successful man, a sovereign in the household of his Egyptian master. So Joseph has been taken by Potiphar, an official of Pharaoh and the captain of guards, that he got him from the Ishmaelites who his brothers sold him to. But the Lord was with Joseph, and he became a successful man, solving the household of his Egyptian master. So even though Joseph was a slave, the Lord was with him, and as a slave he was a successful man, and he was solving the household of his Egyptian master. When his master saw that the Lord was with him and that the Lord made everything he did successful, Joseph found favor with his master and became his personal attendant. Potiphar also put him in charge of his household and placed all that he owned under his authority. So when his master Potiphar saw that the Lord was with him and the Lord made everything he did successful, Joseph found favor with his master and became his personal attendant. Potiphar also put him in charge of his household and placed all things he owned under his authority. So even though Joseph was previously he was he was then they took him and threw him into a pit. The pit was empty without water. And then they sat down to eat a meal. When they looked up, there was a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from the Galilee. The camels were carrying a rod and gun, ballstone and resin, going down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, "What do we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come on, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay a hand on him. For he is our brother, our own flesh." And his brothers agree. When the midnight traders passed by, his brother pulled Joseph out of the pit and sold him for 20 pieces of silver to Ishmaelites who took Joseph to Egypt. So his brother threw him in a pit and then sold him as a slave. But the Lord was with him and made him successful in everything he did. So then Potiphar, his master, saw that, and then he put him in charge of his house and placed all that he owned under his authority. So he's been put to personal attendant, so he's been put as the highest position a slave could have. From the time that he put him in charge of his household and all that he owned, the Lord blessed the Egyptian house because of Joseph. The Lord's blessing was all that he owned in the house and in the field. He left all that he owned under Joseph's authority. He did not concern himself with anything except the food he ate. Now Joseph was well-built and handsome. After some time, his master's wife looked longingly at Joseph and said, "Sleep with me." But he refused. Look, he said to his master's wife, "With me here, my master does not concern himself with anything in his house, and he has put me all that he under my authority. Knowing this house is greater than I am, and he has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. So how could I do this immense evil, and how could I sin against God?" Because Joseph was everything was under Joseph's authority, and the Lord blessed him, the Egyptian house was blessed, and Potiphar put him in charge of everything except the food he ate. And he was also handsome, so his wife wanted to be with him, but Joseph said no because Potiphar gave him all this good things, and withheld nothing from me except you because you are his wife. So how could I do this immense evil, and how could I sin against God? So he's you are his wife, I can't sleep with, you because I would be wrong to Potiphar, but more importantly, it would be wrong to God because God doesn't want that. Although she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her. So she kept on tempting him, by saying, sleep with me, but Joseph was like, "No, I'm not gonna sleep with you." Now one day he went into the house to do his work, and none of the household servants were there. She grabbed him by his garment and said, "Sleep with me," but leaving his garment in her hand, he escaped and ran outside. So it was so he ran away from her because she's continually on pestering her. He's "Leave me alone, lady." When she saw that he had left his garment with her and had run outside, she called her household servants. Look, she said to them, my husband brought a Hebrew man to make fools of us. He came to me so he could sleep with me, and I screamed as loud as I could. When he heard me screaming for help, he left his garment beside me and ran outside. So she called a household servant, and she lied to them, making it seem like this Hebrew man was trying to sleep with her, trying to rape her, and that she was the victim. But in actuality, he was the victim, and she's trying to make him sleep with her. So she put Joseph's garment beside her until his master came home. Then she told him the same story. The Hebrew slave you brought to us came to make a fool of me. When I screamed for help, he left his garment beside me and ran outside. Also, the reason why she's telling this lie is because she's kind of angry at Joseph for rejecting her so many times, that she wants to she wants to accuse him of this and wants Potiphar to do less of him and to do something to him, punish him. When his master heard the story his wife told him, these are the things your slave did to me. He was furious and had him thrown into prison where the king's prisoners were confined. So Joseph was there in prison. So when Potiphar heard this, he threw Joseph in prison, even though Joseph did nothing wrong, and it was actually Potiphar's wife who was doing the wrong. But the Lord was with Joseph and sending kindness to him. He granted in favor with the prison warden. So Joseph was thrown into prison, but the Lord was still with him, and he granted in favor with the prison warden. So previously the Lord granted favor with Joseph with Potiphar, but now he is granting in favor with the warden. The warden put all the prisoners who were in prison under Joseph's authority, and responsible for everything that was done there. So just like how Potiphar, he left all that he owned under Joseph's authority, the prison warden left the prison, put all the prisoners who were in the prison under Joseph's authority, and he was responsible for everything that was done there. The warden did not bother with anything under Joseph's authority because the Lord was with him, and the Lord made everything that he did successful. So just like last time, the Lord made everything that he did was successful. So yeah. This shows that even in the dark times, in bad times, Joseph was thrown into pit cell and was a slave, but he still got authority and in good positions, and the Lord blessed him, and even when in prison, he was still blessed. So yeah. This is Genesis. This is a study of Genesis chapter 39. Which starts with Joseph and Potiphar's house being the slave to Potiphar, but eventually Potiphar's wife lies and says and accuses Joseph of trying to rape her, and then Potiphar threw Joseph in prison. But even in prison, the Lord was with Joseph, and Joseph got favor with the warden, so he was able to have authority over all the other prisoners. And yeah. If any experienced Christian sees this and I said something wrong, please correct me. And if you like this video, like it. And if you think I'm doing something good, subscribe. And I will see you the next day if the Lord wills. Bye.